Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching as always. We've got a Yard Machines 38-inch, 13.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton riding mower, lawn tractor, whatever you want to call it. Needs a little bit of work. I've noticed a few things about it, and I hope that I don't have to go through some wiring disaster with it. We'll find out though. Looks like it's going to be a relatively easy fix. Hopefully it's just like a carb clean and a battery, and it needs blades. It doesn't have any blades on it. Of course, it's a 38-inch cut, and I don't think I've got any 38-inch blades around here, so that's great. But we'll see what we can get into on this. I hope it's not too hard. I'm probably going to eat my words, but let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you an overview next. Alright, here we go with it. 6-speed, shift on the go, MTD's Veridrive transmission. This is the bare bones riding mower that you could buy when this came out, probably around 2010-ish. Can't really see the date code very well. That'd be an 06, I think. 2006. It's a 13.5, so it's one of the smaller displacement Briggs. A little bit smaller than, say, your 17.5s and stuff like that. A little bit low on oil. Air filter is good enough to keep in there. There's a little bit of a tow out issue. It looks like I can just bend. There's a rod, almost like the Craftsman's. I can get out and bend the rod back and fix that issue. Cosmetically, this thing's not too bad. It's got a little bit of tears in the seat and stuff up here, but not bad otherwise. I do need to replace this tire to make it the same size as that tire. And I've got a couple of these here at home. Let me show you what I'm talking about with the... Well, it's got no blades on it, first off. Spindles are there. Everything seems like it's turning freely, which is good. It's missing the return spring for the brake, blade brake. But somebody, I'll grab my flashlight, has come in here and done something with some safety switches, and I am not a fan of it. But if you look down there, you see all that wiring snafu type stuff. I checked the fuse. The fuse is good. I hate when people do that, but I guess they just essentially bypass that seat safety. Hopefully that was not a just a trying to diagnose something. Hopefully I don't have any issues otherwise with brake safeties or anything like that, because these are very good for having some pretty bad brake safety issues, because you have to literally push the pedal to enact that safety switch, and then it'll run with the park brake on, but it won't. I don't know. It's just a little bit of a cluster and a half with these MTDs. First order of business, I'm just going to throw a battery in it and see if it'll turn over. If it turns over, I'll throw some starting fluid in it and see if it starts for us. Then if it starts for us, I'll make sure that it runs, and then I'll buy some blades for it, or at least find some in my blade cabinet here. Well, unfortunately, I'm not that lucky. Tried to, blades off, brakes on, try and turn it, hey, nothing. So I'm going to take the battery back out, and we're going to do some safety switch troubleshooting. I love safety switch troubleshooting, said nobody. Pretty much we're going to make sure that the orange wire has no resistance from the ignition switch to the solenoid. If we have continuity between there, that means I've got a bad solenoid and I have to replace it yet. So let me go ahead and get rolling with that, and I will see what I can manage. Alright guys, I have made some troubleshooting progress, I guess you could call it. to narrow it down to either somebody did some bad splicing right here, which that's a decent bet, or I've got a bad switch somewhere. So what I have done is taken off this safety switch, which is the brake safety. I took it off and exposed the connector. That's easier to do than trying to unplug it without it with it being on there. So I've got the ohm meter plugged into, it's a white and black striped wire. That white and black striped wire, goes up here, and this is my finished product for now at least. It goes up here, but it eventually connects to this. It connects to the blade safety switch, which should be working. Or at least it's in the closed position. But these splicers here, I think somebody really kind of jacked this up. So that's the white and black. So what happens is the orange and black wire goes into the blade safety switch. And then coming out of the blade safety switch, you have an orange and white wire. Now, it's my understanding that we can actually troubleshoot this now if we want to. Hopefully I can show y'all as much as I can. I'll at least explain it while I do it. So, I've got these. I don't know why they bypass the seat safety unless they were having a safety switch issue, which could be possible. But I'm just going to splice these, and at least I'll try and show you what I think is happening. Because I think the orange wire is what goes into the starter solenoid to tell the starter solenoid that all the safeties are closed. Now the yellows I think are tied to the seat safety and the blade safety. They're separate, whole separate ordeal there. So let's see if I'm right. Because I already know. I don't know how well I can show it to y'all. But I've got zero resistance now between the plug that goes into the starter solenoid. So this thing should start up. Now, if we go to the blade safety, let's see if I can do this with 4 hands, or 2 hands when you really need 4. But, in essence, with a closed blade, got to get the other lead, sorry. With a closed blade safety switch, I should have no resistance between, and I don't. So there was whatever the issue was, it was something with the splice, right? Now when I turn the blades on, should I have resistance? Probably. Yeah, it's an open loop. So that, in essence, that's working. So I might connect the, instead of wire nutting, well, we'll test this out first. I was about to say, instead of wire nutting the, I think it's something with the splices here. So I know the blade safety works, at least in terms of it allowing it to start. So let me turn on let me put the brake safety back on, and then I'll put a battery in to see if it'll crank. And if it does, I'll go ahead and put the blade safety switch back on, because I was not getting continuity before. at least from the ignition switch up. So unless it's lying in the brake safety, we'll find out in just a second. So let me put that brake safety back on, and then we'll see if I have continuity across the entire orange wire spectrum on this mower. All right, y'all, I think we're making some progress. I think it was in that splice that the guy did. I think y'all can see that okay, right? So I have this lead connected to the grounding pole in the starter solenoid. Pretty much that prevents it from starting if it's not closed. I have this one connected to the orange wire here on the ignition switch. And what I'm going to do, you're not going to be able to see me, but it's open right now. You see open loop, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to close the loop by pressing the button, and you'll see that number changes 0. So I haven't bolted it back in yet, but y'all should see. I'll make sure with y'all. See that number change to 0 there? So that means that we're getting continuity from the ignition switch all the way to the pole and starter solenoid, which means that there is no reason, as long as the solenoid is good and the starter is good, there's no reason why this thing won't start now. So I'm going to patch it up a little bit later, but right now I am going to just put the battery back into it, hook that up, and see. I'm going to get these splices out of the way. Hook all that mess up and see if we can get it to at least turn over for us. No reason why we shouldn't, as long as, like I said, the solenoid, the switch, and the starter are good. But we did not originally have continuity there. So now that we do, I have much higher confidence that this thing will crank now. Okay, guys. Battery's in. Plug back the solenoid. Put the safety switch back on. And plug the ignition switch back in. Yeah. So, like I said, they don't have the seat safety hooked up. But the way that you have to start a mower, or this mower, that you have to have the brake down. What do you think? You think it'll turn over for us? Ha-ha! Look at that. Sounds a little interesting, but see, now it won't start. Shouldn't anyways. Because MTDs, they require you to push the brake down when you start it. So we got it doing this at least. Out of curiosity, will it start with the blade on? It tries. Because I don't have the blade safety hooked up. That's why you hook your blade safety up, folks. Shoot, while I'm here, let's do this. Take this air filter off, or actually, don't even have to do that. I'm going to spray it right down there. Found my carb spray. There it is. Think it'll crank? Well, we know it'll crank, but will you think it'll run? At least for the period that it has the starting fluid in there. Wants to. Trying to. got a lot of water in it. Let me try a little bit more here. Might have a fouled plug too, you don't ever know. Don't want to do it. Interesting. Let me check the, it smells pretty bad. So I wanted to try, I think the fuel's just so bad in it that it just won't crank for us. So let me take, I don't want to have to take the whole carb off again. Let me take this bowl nut off down here, which is a 1/2 inch. See what we got going on. I'm sure that it's pretty clogged up. If there's anything, oh my gosh, look at that. Holy cow. That was green, y'all. That was green. Woo! Wasn't much in there, but what it was very green. This is stuck, so gotta get it unstuck. Although it's stuck in the down position, so that's not a bad thing. So maybe it was trying to pull some of that mess up. So let me see. I don't know. I'll give it one more shot before I turn the camera off here. Y'all heard it try to pop once or twice there, so. See what we can do. She's trying. You hear it? I think the plug's fouled. So let me get the plug out. We'll look at the plug and then we'll put the plug back in and see if we can get it to start then. It's something that's very minute, it sounds like. And it sounds like a fuel issue too. So yeah, the gap on this plug is none. So that will do it. Let me gap it out for us. Let me grab the right tool. Grab a tool that will do it. There we go. Maybe a little too much. Got it gapped some now. We'll spray it off with a little carb spray. Put it back in there. Y'all been with me this long. Let me go ahead and put this thing in here and we'll try it. Makes you wonder why the plug gap was wrong. Any bets? Not with the park brake off. Well, look at that. That's good. Alright, so we got that figured out. I will revisit the whole blade safety deal. And we'll see what we end up having. But let me put this air filter cover back on for right now. What I would like to do next is I would like to get into the carburetor here and see if I can get the main jet cleared at the very least. I have a feeling that some stuff's gummed up in here, but if I can get the main jet clear. Let me grab some wire. I might just crank it up and see what happens. Make sure there's a passageway up there to the, that's it, yeah, whatever it was, I did clean it out just a little bit, so. This is stuck in the down position right now, which is actually kind of good. So I can pull it up with some pliers here. It doesn't take much to get these loose. There we go. It's already going up and down. Get some WD-40. Ooh, sprayed on everything, huh? Shine up the mower, right? So I'm just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Purges out some of that old stuff. And just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It'll eventually you can test it with the switch too before you put it back in. As long as I can get it to pull down, that's all I really care about. Of course I can cut it. That'll be the easy solution, right? But I like making things hard sometimes. You can see it's trying to slowly come back up, but whenever I plug it in down here, pop that back on. Turn the switch on, which it was just on. So it's working good enough to open. And as more gas and stuff flows in it, it'll get better. So I'm just going to put this back on, put some gas in it, and see if we can get it to start for us. Alright y'all, put some fresh gas in it. And misplaced the gas cap for some reason. There it is. Put the gas cap on. We'll have to figure out a better way to secure this gas tank too. I gotta do a little bit more wiring it, obviously. What y'all think? You think it'll run for us? Let me check the oil first though. It's a little, I mean it's really low, but I'm not gonna run it for very long. I know that it runs and dries, I'll change the oil in it. We'll roll on with it. Okay. Huh. It's interesting. It's like it's choked. I don't want to run it much longer. It sounds like it needs some oil. But, is it loose on the... No, it's just... I don't know. I don't know. You need to wake up, I guess. I'm at least going to add some oil to it before I run it any longer. I'm just a little... concerned because it's so low. It's actually really, really low, so yeah, let me add some oil to it, and then we'll see if we can drive it around. Obviously I can't test the blades out right now because I don't have any blades for this, so we can at least drive it around, and then we can start fixing other issues on it. That's one of the big hurdles, though. Like I said, I still got to do some wiring with it, but we're getting close. Closer than when we started. The rest is all mechanical, which most of the time is a little bit easier. Alright guys, I added a few ounces of oil. I'm going to start it, see if I can start it back up and drive it around a little bit. A lot of smoke. That really low for right now. It's missing the return spring. I mean, the good news is transmission works. Alright. Out of the way, I got a lot of stuff that I haven't been able to sell here lately. Alright. She's a little rough around the edges, but who knows how long it's been since that thing's run. So I'm going to turn the gas off for right now. And I don't know, guys. So running and driving so far. Let's work on some of the mechanical stuff. And I see what's going on with the steering. So let me go ahead and fix that. I'll show y'all how to do that. Actually, yeah, I'll show y'all how to do that. Let me get everything situated and we'll get going with it. So now we're under the mower, and what I'm going to do, you got cotter pins right here, and on the other side, take those cotter pins out, and what we're essentially going to do is straighten out this bar here. So what it has happened is that it's gotten bent. If you're familiar with a Craftsman, it's the same way. It got bent, and so what's happening is what it's done is it's shortened the distance between the two steering spindles, and in essence that's what causes the toe out effect. So that's why we're having some toe out problems. We obviously need to get another tire on this side as well, which I can deal with that a little bit later. But I'm going to take these cotter pins out, and that'll drop the bar, and then I'm going to take it over to my vise, and I'll meet you over there. Alright, y'all, here's what I'm doing in the vise. Pretty easy. I'm just lining everything up, straightening it. And I just kind of go at multiple different angles. So you can see it's still a little bent right there, so we're going to line it up, straighten it up right there. Then we'll pull it out. You can see we still got a little bit of bendage. We don't, I mean, it's a lot better than it was. We're not trying, we strive for perfection, but as long as it works, you know, that's really the goal. Well, I'm actually moving my vise instead of moving the... Okay. So, I think that might do it. Ugh. Still, you can see it's just very slightly, but it wasn't like that, but you know, it was much more of an indent than that before. So let's take it back to the mower, put it back on, and see if that helps us out any. I kind of want to get it bent a little bit more, but we'll see what we can manage. Alright, y'all, trying to avoid the rain shower here, but I got this straightened out in the front a little bit better. It's tracking straighter now than it was, which is a good thing. A lot easier to roll too. It's not quite fighting as bad as it was, so it's still not 100% straight, but it's close enough. My next battle, like I said, I still have to fix the wiring, figure out the wiring and stuff. My next battle is this deck. Like I said, I got to get some blades for it. Or, I got a 42-inch deck over here. I could just slap on it and call it a day. Tempting. But I got a nice Toro that I really want to keep that deck for. When I'll get to it, I don't know. We'll see the difficulty of this whenever I get it off, though. Really easy to get these decks off. It's 3 points and then one extra step. So it's your point on the front here. You have your cotter pin that you can see right there. Same on the other side. And you just take that spring off. A little bit of thunder. Take that spring off and you end up getting your spring for your blade engagement, and you're able to kind of take it off, and the right blade brake is frozen, so our mission is to get that freed up, and I think that's what's preventing everything from springing back into place with the blade brakes and loosening the tensioner pulley and all that stuff. So I think if we can get that free, we'll be good with the deck, and then we'll have something that's, honestly, we have something that's running and cutting, and we're going to be pretty darn close to finishing up after all that is said and done, from what it looks like. We'll see, though. Let me get this deck off, and I'll rejoin you in just a second. Alright, y'all, here's the deck. I got it off. The only other thing I wanted to mention, these 38s are quite a bit different than the 42s for some reason. But I had to take this cotter pin off and take this loose because the spring goes under this, and so I wasn't able to get enough leverage on the spring to get it out of the hole. So now what we have to do is fix this seized deck blade brake. Otherwise, we're going to have constant issues with belt tension and all that good stuff. So, first order of business is to get all the junk and stuff out of here. So I'm going to blow, as long as there's a rain on me, I'm going to blow it off. Then I'm just going to throw a bunch of lube on it, see if we can get it freed up that way. If not, we'll pursue taking that bolt off. Alright guys, I think I had something going on with my camera that missed a lot of action, which is very unfortunate. Given all that, let me show you what I ended up doing. So, I'm trying to explain the best that I can, because I think my couple of clips got corrupted here. This bolt right here, there's a nut on the underside of the deck. They're both 1/2 inch. I took that off. This is like a little shoulder washer. So that shoulder washer ended up being stuck. What I did is I took that bolt off, took this mechanism off, took this cotter pin off, and this linkage off. Did a bunch of wire brush and lube right here to free it up, right? So it's freed up now. The return spring on these is actually right under here. Right under here. It connects to the bottom portion of this blade return, or this blade brake, and then the other one connects to this bolt right here. So we've got return action on our brakes. Everything is like it should be now. That shoulder bolt, I took a 3/8 inch socket and beat it out, and I wire brushed everything around it and lubed it up until it got it to where it was freely moving like this. So now I've got to find some 38 inch deck blades for this thing, which I know I've got a ton of 42s. I do not think I have 38s, but I could be pleasantly surprised at what I have, which is what I'm going to look for next. See if I can put some blades on this thing. Honestly, once I get this tire on, make sure they all hold air, this thing's, and fix that wiring for the final time, this thing's pretty much done. Alright guys, the next day here, went and got the blades. Walmart actually had them, $26, so that was nice. And put them on, Didn't think they would have them, but they did. So we've got them on. I'm going to knock a couple of this mess off here under the deck. Chuck it out into the yard because let the mowers chew it up. It's actually kind of cool. This discharge chute is actually in good condition. So let me go ahead and get the remainder of the deck back on it, and then we'll give this thing a shot and get this bird out of my garage. Oh, here it comes. So let me do that. Alright, y'all, I've got the deck back on it. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out here and see what happens with it. So let me crank it up and pull it out. You can hear the blades are still turning, unfortunately. So I can't get that tensioner pulley right for some reason. I can't get that return spring to work. Despite, it's like it just doesn't want to bring it back all the way. If I can give it a little bit more tension somehow, that would be ideal, I guess, but how do you do that? So, blades on, right? Let's see. You turn the blades off and it doesn't want to return for you, which is the... But I can sit here and do this all day and it'll return it all day long. It's just like it kind of gets stuck in the engaged position for some reason. I wonder if I could take that return spring and move it somewhere else to give it a little bit more tension, because that's all I need to get it to not do that. Let me investigate a little bit more and see what I can manage. See if I can get that return spring to work a little bit better. Okay, y'all, I took the deck back off of it because I checked and the spring action is fine. The issue is there's not enough reverse tension on the deck in order for it to take the cable and slide it back. And that cable's a little stiff, but it's fine otherwise. So what I did, and honestly this thing may have been missing a spring, I'm not sure, but I added a second spring right here between the pulley, between the blade brake, and then I drilled a hole right here in the guard to add a second spring. So now we've got some serious spring back. It's always trying to find a fine line between what's too much and what's not enough as well. So we're trying to figure out that line, and hopefully, I mean, that's a lot of tension there, but that spring is pretty strong. So let me get that this deck back on it. We'll test it out and see what we can manage here. All right, y'all, here we go with this. Let me show you. I got the deck kind of down. I'll raise it up a height. Got it all back on. Check this out. So pull it, enough tension to engage the blades, right? I need to put that back on. That wouldn't be good. Yeah. Enough tension to engage the blades, turn it off, enough tension to release it. That's exactly what we want. Brakes are on and all that good stuff. So, let me test this thing out. I'll go ahead and change the oil in it, wash it, and give you all a final look and test for this thing. Really not too bad. A couple afternoons, got this one done, so. Okay, y'all, there, everything's back on, cleaned up, and all that good stuff. Ready for me to take some pictures and set it up for sale. Looks like the mower does have a relatively new deck belt on it. The deck was already level, so this, apart from the issue with the safety switch and the wiring for that, this thing was pretty much there. Safety switch and the return for the blades, which I added that spring, and it's working beautifully now. So this one's done. I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up for you. It does surge a little bit. It's got one of them Nickies on it, so they're known for some surging, as y'all very well know. Battery in it I already had here, so I don't have any money in that. Really, the only thing I had to buy were the blades. So, and then I have the original purchase price with the lot. Let me show you before I start what all I got for. What did I get for 500 bucks? I got a ton of parts, a lot of stuff in that shed there I got with this. And I'll sell this mower for about $4, so I'll pretty much recoup all of my money back just in this sale. But I got that with a good engine, from what I can tell. It's got compression. This Southern States, which doesn't look like it needs a ton of stuff, probably another $400 mower. Craftsman here in the back, I know I don't have any lights, but it's the LT1000 Craftsman. Just needs a couple of things, hopefully, and I should sell that one with a bagger for about $500 to $550. So I stand to make about $1,000 off the lot. But we'll see what we got going on here, and I'll crank it up and let y'all ride around with me. We'll wrap this video up. I gotta stop my music real quick. Somebody not taking the safety switches and keep them on here. Let's go for a ride. Oh, and I don't know if I showed y'all this, but I showed you in practice. Lower that down so y'all can hear me a little bit better. The idle's good. As you can see, the blades are not turning, so that's a good thing. Alright, and all 6 speeds work on the transmission too. That's a rarity. Also, after a few minutes, it does run a little bit smoother. Parking in the shade because that's better for optimal photos. Is it going to pop? Yep, pops just a little bit sometimes when you cut it off. I mean, everything works on it. It's great. And I didn't really need a lot. I've had it a couple months. I'm bringing this tripod in, we'll wrap it up. But so what did I do? The left rear looked like it was leaking just a little bit, but I think the transmission fluid stopped that. This one's not leaking anymore. Replaced this tire to make it nicer. The bearings are a little worn on it, but it's got good tread. And then of course the back tire is the original tire, so I don't have a tire like that, and I don't think I have a smaller MTD tire, so it's just going to live with that. But people around this area don't really care too much about looks, they care more about function. And I know in the market how much these go for. They're around 400. I might list it for 425. If I get 4, then I'm going to be doing pretty good. Probably would let it go for 350 to 375 if I really, especially if I set on it for a few days. But as of right now, we just finished up a dry spell and we got some rain over the weekend. I'm filming this on a Monday, so we'll see what we can do with it listing. Still in the prime season here of grass mowing and mower acquisition. It's very strong. Up until, well, you'll see this video in August, but up until the July 4th period for me. This is about Memorial Day weekend. Surprise! But I appreciate y'all watching as always. We didn't really have to do a lot to get this sorted out, which I was pleasantly surprised with. I thought I was going to be chasing a bunch of wiring issues, according to the guy who sold it to me, but I didn't, so that's a good thing. Did a couple other things to it and got a nice, fully sorted, fully functional yard machine riding mower here. Just a basic riding mower, but it'll serve somebody's needs very well. I'm going to take some pictures of it, list it for about $425, and hopefully somebody will come along this week and pick it up. So I thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all enjoyed that spring hack that I did in order to get the blade brakes working again. So that was a big deal. I wanted to make it as safe to operate as I can, considering somebody's already bypassed the seat safety switch, which I'm not really a fan of. But apart from that, we've made the mower safe to use. So again, thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. See you then.